And same with comic book stuff like Batman. Now here's something interesting to say about voiceover in this. So I went in on this Batman game to play some thugs and some guards, just kind of some background characters that talk a little bit, right? But while I was there, even the director didn't know. The director was going down the list and they said, okay, next up for you we have, I guess they want you to voice Lex Luthor. Just as an aside, right? Like I had no idea or whatever. I'm like, okay, totally down to play Lex Luthor. So if you guys haven't seen this, it's not a big part, but it's kind of cool, and this is a little quiet, but if you go to the answering machine in, I guess, Bruce Wayne's apartment, you get a message like this.
Mr. Wayne, Lex Luthor calling. Apologies for going via your direct line, but I grow tired of these games. LexCorp has made a very generous offer for Wayne Tech's Applied Sciences Division, yet your persistent unavailability begins to look less like a busy schedule and more like deliberately antagonistic behavior. Come now, meet with me. I'm sure we can come to an agreement. A man of your refined taste doesn't need an Applied Sciences Division after all. He needs another $1 billion.
So yeah, it's not the, it's not the lead Lex Luthor role I'd want to play, but still very cool. But I thought you guys would appreciate that you can go in for thugs and they can go, oh, you're also voicing Lex Luthor. And it's interesting how our jobs work sometimes, right? You don't know what you're going in for, things happen. So remember when I talked about Sega? Yeah. What do you think the first game was that I played on that system? You guys all know it. I love that. Came with the system. I love that no matter how many years later people are like, Sonic? It's gotta be Sonic, right? Yes. So I'd grown up on Sonic the Hedgehog, so can you imagine my joy when I got to work on Sonic Generations as, hey, I'm Vector the Crocodile! Very, very excited. And of course, again, the gift that keeps on giving. I think I've been Vector for 16 years now. So those of you who are wondering, I'm not the guy who said find the computer room, but I've said about everything else after that. So just to be fair, because people come by and they, hey, we signed that with the autograph? And I go, as long as you know that it wasn't me, so that Dan Green gets his credit. So that's continued on. I even got to do one of the final episodes of Sonic Boom, if you've ever seen the series. They did an episode featuring Vector the Crocodile, which was so much fun. And they were killing me with it. They kept sending me scripts for like 8 months, and then it wouldn't happen, and I was like, it's done, it's not happening. Then it came up again, and I was like, no, it's not happening. And then finally they set an actual date with my agent. I'm like, is it really happening? Of course, they sent me to the wrong studio. So I'm like, oh my God, it's not happening again. I can't believe it, I'm here. Made a call, like, oh, get to the other one? Okay. So I showed up late for my first session, which I never do, but it was a blast anyway. Again, other things I got the chance to work on. This is interesting because I worked on Street Fighter V, and I played, if I get his name right, is it Gilkin? Is that right? The guy who trains Ryu? He's not playable in it, but I got to voice him in it. Obviously, more recently, I've get to play Dawson, which is really, really cool. This guy I was always hoping was going to get to be playable. They have a little bit, because it's very difficult sometimes to get the exact pronunciations correct. Here's a game that was very... Skyrim. You gotta pronounce the cities right. I mean, Whiterun's pretty easy to say, but some of the swords or the special things are difficult to say. You gotta say it right. It's a huge, huge world. You guys all played, who played Skyrim? A few of you. First off, I played the hell out of this game. I loved this game, it was so much fun. I also got to work on Elder Scrolls Online since. I played different characters in Elder Scrolls Online. Anybody know who I played in Skyrim? Oh. This guy look familiar? Maybe? College of Winterhold? Alright, here's somebody you might know. Do you get to the Cloud District very often? What am I saying? Of course you don't. Nazim is one of the weirdest characters. Like, people love to hate this character so much. I never would have expected it. We went in on this game and they said, here's who I auditioned for, guys. My character's name was Condescending Male. That's the name it said on the script. And I booked it, because I guess I'm good at being condescending. And I recorded, and they said, look, you're gonna play a bunch of characters, we're gonna spread you out throughout the whole world here. Don't change. You are always condescending male. We don't want you to change your voice. If I say you're a vampire now, or a pirate, or whatever, it doesn't matter. You stay the same. This is how you talk. So, but Nazim is the only one that everybody hates. Nobody hates any of the other ones. They just love, like, so you go on, they will kill him over and over and over. So Overwatch was one of those things. Just totally blew up. Was an amazing game to work on. Obviously, I voiced D.Va in the game. But they didn't like my performance as D.Va, so they recast me as, can you guys say his name? I think 2 of you got it right. Torbjörn, ready to work, come get your armor. This guy, thank you. This guy changed my life, and I think, not him specifically, but this game did so much, in my opinion, for voiceover. Not because it was the best voiceover of all time. It wasn't that. It's not that. I think it's great voiceover, but that's not why. For some reason, after this game came out, with the amount of popularity it had, and I know Johnny Cruz filmed a little video that all of you saw of us doing the voices at Blizzard after their BlizzCon, where we were just hanging out together and meeting each other for the first time, right? Which is what that video was. We were all meeting each other that day. And that went super viral. Now, it could have been another game, so I don't want to give Overwatch too much credit, but it happened to be Overwatch. And I think a lot of people started paying attention. Well, if these are the people that do these voices, what else do they do? And not only that, but I'm playing this other game too. Who's in this game? And everybody went online and everybody started caring and being interested, not everyone, but a lot of people, in who was doing the voices. So, like I said, I don't want to give too much credit to it. I think another game could have done it. It just happened to be Overwatch. It was the right game at the right time, and everything kind of clicked. I mean, does that make sense to you guys? Because I feel like right in that zone, everybody, by the time Apex Legends came out, everybody was like, I want to know who's in this. And a lot of games started announcing us. So some games have trailers, or we're like, Genshin Impact will say, here's the new character, here's who's voicing them. That is fairly new and really appreciated. It's very cool. The first time I saw that happen was in Xenoblade Chronicles X. You guys know this? A couple know this, all right. So this is funny, because we did this game, we had a lot of fun on it and stuff, and you can choose the voice you want in the game. When it came out, I didn't have the game. Somebody on Facebook sent me this image. And it's got, do you want the heroic guy? That's Yuri Lowenthal. The rookie, that's Bryce Papenbrook. The rebel, that's Keith Silverstein. You know what I mean? And I thought that they photoshopped this. And I was like, ha, that's cool. And then I saw it again from somebody else. They didn't even tell us they were going to do this. This was the title screen. This was the choice when you choose your voice. They actually put our names in. It's the first time I've ever seen that. I don't know if it's the first game to do it, but for me, it was the first time I saw that. Like, oh my God, my name's not in the end credits, but like, choose, do you want? They actually put our names in parentheses. I thought incredibly cool. You'll know this one? So, this is a few other things I worked on, but I do, let me finish this out real quickly, and then well, if you guys have any questions though, do we have a mic? Yeah, you can line up at the mic and we'll try to get some of these out for you. Oh my God, Super Smash. By the way, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I booked it, didn't know what I was coming in for, at all, anything. Went in, oh hey, this is, for Nintendo, okay, cool. What are we doing? And I was like, well, you're working on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm like, what? Oh my God, are you kidding me? And they go, and you're reprising your role as Simon Belmont. I'm like, what? So it's super cool, but how funny do you go in? And they said you're voicing Lex Luthor too. They didn't say that. I don't do a lot of mocap, but I did do some facial capture in Spider-Man, so I am Hammerhead, and I got to watch all the mocap people do their thing. They can do a flip on a dime, it's crazy. They are so incredible. So, yeah, these are some of the fun. Here's some more recent stuff. Of course, Awesome Street Fighter 6. You guys probably never heard of this game. Overwatch 2 already dropped, but I want you to think about all the games and how incredible the audio is and the voiceover nowadays, and remember where we started.
Mattel Electronics presents B-17 Bomber.
Thank God, right? Thank God. Do you guys have any questions? We got a little bit of time to do some Q&A if you guys got them. Yeah. Helping you kill up. All right, now I'm shut. With your sword, you don't go anywhere without your weapon.
Hi, I was wondering if you could hang out with any of the characters you voiced for a day. Would you choose and what would you do?
Oh my God. You're gonna laugh, but I would hang out with Torbjörn, and I would make sure we were at home, so he could fix anything in my house that needed fixing. We'd start conversing, and then I'd just be like, oh yeah, that just needs to be fixed. And you don't happen to know how to, fine. Hard work pays off, right? I know he would hook me up. So I think I'd go with that. I play a lot of villains that I don't want to hang out with.
And who would you least want to hang out with?
Least? God, who's the Johan from Monster. That's a deep cut if you guys don't know it, but sociopath. You don't want to cross paths with him in any way. Much more dangerous than, like, say, Hisoka or Hawkmoth or any of them. Much worse, for sure.
Do you think Hisoka would be nice to you?
I think he would be disinterested in me. He's interested in people who have great nen ability and are good fighters. If you can provide him with a good fight, he's interested in you, which could be bad. It's really bad because then he wants to fight you. So hopefully he would ignore me. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I like the polite claps. I love it. Sunes. They were good questions. What's up?
First, I want to just say that I loved you as Hisoka in Hunter x Hunter. I thought that was a great role.
No. Excellent. Thank you very much.
My question would be if...
I'm sorry. I sense great name ability from you. I just can't wait to break you. All right, I'm going to shut him up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was slightly disturbed, but... if there's ever been a role that afterwards you're like, I wish I could do something differently, like what's one of those roles that you'd maybe approach it a different way or give it a different tone?
Wow, that's tough. I'll be honest with you. I mean, a lot of stuff I watch, even like I like Hunter x Hunter, for example, love the show. And I like my performance as Hisoka, but when I watch this stuff, I can't help but pick out a line here or there that I'm like, ooh, I could have done better. It's not horrible, but it's really hard for me not to do that. So in general, I can let a lot of it go and just let it be what it is. And that's part of acting. It's part of creating in general. If you're a painter or a sculptor, there's a point where you have to walk away. And you have to say it's done. Does that make sense? Yes. Otherwise you overdraw and then you don't have anything good. So at some point you have to go, that is what it is. And I'm fairly good at that. I mean, once I've left the booth, that's that. So if I have a problem, I'll say it to the director, like, is there any way, can I please do another take of that? But even so, 10 years afterwards, 15 years later, you listen to stuff and you're like, oh, yeah, I thought I sounded cooler than that. So I don't have any one role that just drives me crazy. I really don't, but I also don't even know if I'd want to share it if I did, to like pinpoint the weakness and go like, here's the thing where I suck in, go find it. I'll let you decide what I'm terrible in. The internet does that all by themselves, right? Good question though.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about the Hisoka thing. Hi there.
Hi. My question is, well, you said you played a lot of like villains. Well, you have a pretty big range, I would say. Is there any times that you connected your character to like real life experiences or like relationships?
If I need to be depressed, sad, I very frequently create a real situation in my mind. I'm more likely to do that, especially for sadness, if I'm supposed to cry or sound distraught. Because every actor is different, you know what I mean? You can just put yourself in that character's mind and pretend that's happening to you. For me, for some reason, for sadness, I'm more likely to either take something sad in my life and put myself there, or imagine something sad in my life. That's more effective for me to do that thing. Does that make sense? And I can do it a little bit with anger. I've done it with anger a little bit.
No evilness?
No, I don't. I'm not. The evil is all created for me. I mean, I'm not an evil guy. Usually. No, I'm really not, and I get it all out. I mean, I say a lot of times, like, shows like Miraculous, I don't need a therapist because of those shows. Because he's constantly yelling at everyone. I'll get you next time, ladybug. Like, doing that all day long, you know, at least once a week is just like, yeah, I don't need to yell. I come home, I'm like, I don't want to yell at you. Everybody's good. You guys are fine. Yeah. So I'm not evil is what we've learned. Thank you.
Hello again.
Go Godzilla, yeah. I've worked on 3 Godzilla animes. I love it. I want more.
Awesome. Well, just speaking of that,
Yeah.
There's a question I know you mentioned about pulp culture and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
You would be in those type of roles. I know with that whole lot of resume you have, what's like the one thing you're still going to go for that one role for that voice?
Oh, there's a lot. I don't think I've done anything substantial in the Star Wars universe. I haven't done anything substantial in the Marvel universe. I've dipped into those, but nothing that's like, there it is. That was the one. So those are just universes I grew up on. I just really, really love. So that would be nice. But I want the, it'd be nice to get the right thing. I'll wait 20 more years if I'm going to get an incredible, like, animated Star Wars role or something. You know what I mean? I'll take whatever time. And if it doesn't happen, I already feel very blessed. Just to be honest, I'd love it, but it's not gonna ruin my, it's all worthless. I should never have done anything. Because then I'll get akumatized, and I don't want that to happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. They were smaller, getting smaller, wider. Sounds like rain. What's up?
They did it.
Good.
So I first mentioned Skyrim, so I want to touch on that.
Yeah, let's talk Skyrim, shall we?
So, do you remember a YouTuber named Manslayer?
No, I don't know Manslayer.
No?
Not by name. Did I meet them? Is that you?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, Manslayer!
He did this series called Game Reboot. I don't even know
If you're asking if I've seen the clip of him, first off, being very suggestive and cursing and bending over and offering himself up, and then singing a song, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because thank God, because otherwise you're like, what are you talking about, Keith? I've seen that. I happened on it, thank God, when I was by myself in my office. And I think it was I don't think I've ever laughed so hard in my life. For those who don't know, they took my voice and they took all the words out of context and placed them, but they modded it, so it's all animated. It's not for children, like when I don't show my kids, I'm like, check out what Daddy did, sorta. But when he started singing, I totally lost it. I completely lost it. So if anybody if you know the game, it's hilarious. It's so funny what they did.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, if he reached out to you to like, make those voices, but I didn't know he...
No. I did not do that. That was him taking my words and going, let's put this here, that word here, this one here. I say something about piracy in one scene, in a totally different scene, I say, yes, but, and they go, let's take that but, put it with the piracy. Like, that was not me, but it was me. Make sense? It's my voice. I did not say those words in that order. Nothing. He did not reach out to me. That's why it's so awkward and stilted, but it's part of the charm of why it's funny.
It sounds so good. That's all
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Hi.
Hello. Is there any dream role or character that you've had that you've always wanted to voice?
I'm a big fan. Like in Marvel, Daredevil's my favorite character. That would be cool. But like I said earlier, honestly, my dream role, they're the roles that don't exist. So there's something about, like I said with Tom Kenny, he's SpongeBob. He just is. So if I voiced Spider-Man or something, I'm just one of a lot of people that voice Spider-Man. By the way, I'm not right for Spider-Man. I would have been 30 years ago, not now. So that my dream is really the one that we don't know yet. Like some of the ones I've gotten to do, even more so, I love Hisoka, that was so much fun, but that has been voiced before. You know what I mean? They did an earlier version of it and stuff. It was still very cool, but Torbjorn's a good example of something that everybody knows, and there was no Torbjorn before I did it. So those kind of roles are my favorite. Those are my dreams. So the next one, I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy.
It's really funny that you brought up Dragon's Dogma. My favorite role of yours is male pawn voice B. But I wanted to ask, given that scripts are so secretive, is it hard keeping a voice consistent between takes, between sessions?
It can be, not in that example, because we had one voice in that. So it's pretty easy to hang on to that. But when you're working on a show where you're changing voices, you're playing 4 or 5 characters, and you're all in a room together reading with scripts, like original animation, it can be difficult. And to throw something else into the mix, you've got other actors that are switching voices too. So if you do something with a dialect, for example, if you're supposed to be British and somebody else is doing Australian, it's very easy to stray into what you're doing in front of me. Does that make sense? So sometimes it's hold on, sorry. Let me go back, because I'm doing what you're doing now. Now I'm Spanish. Thanks for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's all about the ears. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great.
So you know how Hawkmoth comes up with those silly names for his...
Yes.
I was wondering if you've ever thought of what your name would be if you happened to get hypnotized in the show.
Ooh. I don't know, what should my name be? I don't know. What he would call me? I mean, I'd have to have a vocal power, right? It'd have to be a voice, I mean, it'd have to be a voice thing. Unless he was just going into unless we left that whole thing behind and we just went, you love Magic the Gathering, Keith. You're gonna be like, Gatherer, I am Hawkmoth. I'm giving you the power to bring your magic cards to life. But first, you have to do something for me. Give me your Black Lotus. No! No, you can't have it! It's mine! So maybe that. The Gatherer. Yeah. But if you think of a good voice one for me too, I'll take it. The Voicinator? I don't know. That's silly. Yeah. Yeah, who knows? It would be nice to have a vocal power. That would be cool. I like it. Whatever I say, people do. I don't want that power. Never mind. Forget it. I would abuse it. You know, I said I'm not evil. I'm not. But don't give me a power because I feel like we all get evil if we get a power. Like we all eventually. You think it's good, and then it's like, no, it's bad. It's bad, for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So I wanted to ask, if you were to choose a character that you voice, like, out of all of them for games or for anime or things like that, who have you had the most fun voicing, whether because of the character or, like, the environment that the group you're recording with?
Okay, I have to give you a multiple answer on this, okay? So I worked on a show called Monsuno back in the day. I was on Nickelodeon. And the cast was amazing. It was every week. It was once a week we went in and recorded, you know, and it was so much fun working with the cast. There were 5 of us in the cast, and that's it. 5 of us did every voice in the entire show. And we had so much fun, like digging deep into character ideas and stuff. So that was one of the most fun projects for that reason. Just for fun, the character that maybe is the most fun is Hisoka. I love where he takes me. Like, I just let him go and we just go for it. Some characters kind of just take over you, and other ones you're very precise and you're thinking about what you're doing. Does that make sense? And other characters flow out of you in a different way, and he's one of those, so that's fun. But my third one is my favorite show to sit down and watch, which is Glitter Force. I love Glitter Force. We had so much fun improvising on that, and so much of it made it. You have no idea how many lines in that show were made up, and they were hilarious, and they just kept it there like, that's the new line. And if you haven't seen the show, I play 3 of the 4 bad guys, so I'm constantly arguing with myself, and that's the ultimate fun right there. So there's your 3-prong answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We got like 3 minutes left, I think-ish. Speed round.
Okay, sorry, I'll try.
Okay.
Is there a big difference between voicing like TV shows and movies and games? And if there is, which one do you prefer?
They're all a little bit different. Shows, and you said TV shows, so anime is 1 line at a time. Video games is, depending on the game, can be 1 line at a time, or it can be, a section, like a monologue, or these 4 lines go together, do that. Like military ones are usually 1 line at a time. What was the other one you said? So video games, I guess they're a little different, it depends. TV shows, the most fun is when you're sitting around with your script with everybody else and you do like 5 pages. And so you do an entire scene together and everybody's bouncing off of each other, and then they jump in where they're supposed to, and then they jump in and you jump in, and you're back and forth, and that's the most fun. But there is something to be said about focusing on your own dialogue and being in a closed booth and monologuing all by yourself and having supreme focus, because that has advantages too. Does that make sense? Because you are hyper-focused on your character, and I like to be able to do that too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. One Piece, yay, One Piece! I've got Kaido on my side!